Picture this scenario, because I bet almost everyone watching this has felt it in the pit of their stomach at least once. It's a Tuesday. You were driving to work, maybe running 5 minutes late, stressing about a meeting. Suddenly, that little orange light pops on your dashboard. Check engine. Your stomach drops. You know, logically, that fixing this problem right now might cost $300, but you look at your banking app and you have exactly $42.15 to your name until Friday. So what do? You don't fix it. You can't fix it. You ignore it. You turn up the radio to drown out that weird rattling noise. You pray to the car gods that it holds together. 2 months go by. And because you didn't have that $300 then, the car dies on the side of the highway today. Now you need a tow truck. That's $200. The part that was originally broken has now destroyed your transmission. That's $2,000. And because you can't get to work, you miss 3 shifts and lose $400 in wages. That initial inability to pay $300 has now spiraled into a $2,600 catastrophe. This isn't just bad luck, and it's not because you're bad with money or lazy. This is a mathematical trap designed to keep you at the bottom. It is the distinct, measurable, and suffocating cost of not having money. Today, we aren't talking about stocks, crypto, or how to get rich. We are talking about why being broke is actually the most expensive hobby you can have. There's a famous economic theory that explains the wealth gap better than any Wall Street analyst or PhD economist ever could. It comes from a character named Sam Vimes in a Terry Pratchett novel. It's called The Boots Theory of Socioeconomic Unfairness. It goes like this. Take 2 men living in the same city. One is rich, one is poor. The rich man buys a pair of $50 boots. They are high-quality leather, stitched properly with reinforced soles. Those boots last him 10 years. His feet stay dry, and he doesn't think about boots again for a decade. The poor man, on the other hand, cannot afford $50. He literally does not have that capital. He only has $10 to spare. So he goes to the store and buys the cheap cardboard-soled boots. But those boots are garbage. They fall apart after one rainy season. So the next year, he has to scrape together another $10, and the year after that, and the year after that. Over the same 10-year period, the poor man has spent $100 on boots, double what the rich man spent, and yet his feet are still wet. The rich man is dry, comfortable, and statistically wealthier because he had the capital up front. This is the math of being poor. You are forced to pay a premium for the lack of capital. And while this story is about boots, in the real world, this applies to almost every single aspect of your survival. Let's look at the most basic human need, supplies. Toilet paper, toothpaste, non-perishable food. If you have $50 to spare, you go to a warehouse store like Costco or Sam's Club. You buy the mega pack of toilet paper. The cost per roll comes out to maybe 50 cents. You are set for 6 months. You have effectively locked in a low price because you had the entry fee. But if you are living paycheck to paycheck, you cannot lock up $50 in toilet paper inventory. You need that cash for the electric bill. So you have $4. You go to the corner store and buy the 4-pack. The math? You are paying $1.50 per roll. You are literally paying 3 times more for the exact same product simply because you couldn't afford the bulk price. This is what economists call the poverty premium. It applies to laundry detergent, canned food, and especially diapers. If you are broke, your personal inflation rate is technically higher than a rich person's inflation rate because you are perpetually locked out of economies of scale. But paying extra for toilet paper is just the tip of the iceberg. The real wealth destruction, the stuff that keeps generations poor, happens in the systems designed to help you. Banking and transport. Let's talk about cars. In most of North America, a car isn't a luxury, it's a tool you need to make money. If you have money, you buy a 3-year-old reliable Toyota. You get a loan at 5% interest. The car runs for a decade with just oil changes. Your total cost of ownership is low. Now look at the person with bad credit and no savings. They need a car to get to the job to make the money. They go to a buy here, pay here dealership. There gets sold a high-mileage clunker that is worth maybe $4,000, but the dealer marks it up to $8,000, And because they have bad credit, the interest rate isn't 5%, it's 24%. If you do the math, over the life of that loan, they might pay $15,000 for a car that was worth $4,000. And here's the kicker. That car will likely break down before the loan is paid off, so they're still making payments on a dead car while trying to finance a new one. You are paying a risk premium because society has deemed you risky, and the only way to stop being risky is to have money, which you can't save because you're paying the risk premium. It is a cycle designed to keep you exactly where you are. And we haven't even touched on housing. Renting versus owning is the ultimate Boots Theory example. When you rent, you are paying 100% interest. You get zero equity. You are paying your landlord's mortgage plus a profit margin. But to buy a house, you need a down payment, $10,000, maybe $20,000. If you are paying 50% of your income in rent because rent prices are sky high, you can never save that down payment. You are trapped paying $2,000 a month in rent for an apartment that would cost you $1,200 if you owned it. The rich person buys the house, lowers their monthly overhead, and gains an asset that appreciates in value. The poor person pays more monthly for an asset they will never own. It's expensive to be poor because you are renting your entire existence. Then there are the banks. The banking system is designed to punish you for stumbling. If you have $10,000 in your checking account, the bank treats you like royalty. No monthly fees, free checks, maybe even a dedicated support line. But let's say you are struggling. You have $20 in your account. You forgot about a Spotify subscription and it hits for $15. Then you buy a coffee for $6. You are now negative $1. Does the bank say, hey, looks like you're having a rough month, let's cover you for that dollar? No, they hit you with a $35 overdraft fee. Think about the annual percentage rate on that transaction. You effectively borrowed $1 for 1 day and it cost you $35. That is an interest rate of 3,500%. If a guy in a back alley did that, he would go to prison for loan sharking. When a national bank does it, it's just standard policy. Last year, banks made billions of dollars in overdraft fees, almost exclusively from people with less than $1,000 to their name. The rich get paid interest. The poor pay interest. It is a direct wealth transfer from the bottom to the top, disguised as service fees. Now I know what some of you are thinking. I can hear the comments already. Just don't spend money you don't have. Just be disciplined. Stop buying lattes. And theoretically, yes, you're right. But we have to talk about the biology of being broke. There's a concept called scarcity mindset. Studies have shown that when you are legitimately worried about money, when you don't know how you're going to pay rent next week, your functional IQ actually drops by about 13 to 14 points. That is the cognitive equivalent of missing an entire night of sleep. Your brain is so consumed with immediate survival, how do I eat today, how do I keep the lights on, that you physically lose the capacity to make long-term strategic decisions. This is why people in poverty often make decisions that look stupid to outsiders. They take the payday loan with 400% interest, they buy the lottery ticket, they eat the fast food instead of cooking. It's not because they're dumb, it's because their cognitive bandwidth is maxed out just trying to survive the day. The rich man doesn't just save money on boots, he saves the mental energy of not worrying about his feet getting wet. He can use that brain power to invest, learn a new skill, or start a business. The poor man is stuck in a loop of constant low-level panic. And finally, there is the hidden tax on your time. Poverty is incredibly time-consuming. If you have a washer and dryer in your house, doing laundry takes 5 minutes of active work. You throw it in, you walk away. If you have to go to a laundromat, it costs you $5 in quarters, but it also costs you 2 hours of your life. You have to travel there, wait for the cycle, and travel back. That is 2 hours you cannot spend working, resting, or being with your family. If you live in a low-income area, a food desert, you might not have a giant grocery store with fair prices nearby. You have a convenience store with inflated prices. To get to the real store, you might need to take a bus, pay the fare, and spend an hour traveling. The friction of daily life is higher when you don't have money. Everything is harder. Everything takes longer. And since time is money, poverty is stealing your future earning potential by stealing your present time. Okay, I know this is depressing. It feels like the walls are closing in. But understanding the math is the only way to break the equation. Most people ignore this because it's painful, but you have to look at the numbers to find the exit. If you are trapped in this cycle, standard financial advice like invest in the S&P 500 for an 8% return is useless to you. You don't need an 8% return. You need to escape the 400% penalties. The goal is not to get rich overnight. The goal is to stop the bleeding. You need to build a buffer. That first $1,000 emergency fund is not just boring advice. It is a weapon. It destroys the poverty premium. When you have $1,000 in the bank, a flat tire is an annoyance, not a financial crisis that forces you into a payday loan. That $1,000 allows you to increase your car insurance deductible, which lowers your monthly premium. See what happened there?
It requires a shift in thinking from can I afford this monthly payment to what is the total cost of ownership? The dealership, the credit card company, the rent-to-own furniture store, they all want you to focus on the monthly payment because that hides the true cost. You need to focus on the lifetime value. Here's what most people don't realize. The system relies on your ignorance of these mechanics. Companies bank on you paying the late fees. They budget for your overdrafts. They depend on you buying the disposable razor blades again and again instead of the safety razor that lasts a lifetime. When you start making decisions based on the Boots Theory, you become a bad customer for them, but a great CFO for your own life. You have to get angry at the math. Use that frustration. Every time you see a late fee, every time you see a convenience fee, let that anger drive you to build that buffer. You are fighting a war against entropy, and your ammunition is liquidity. So, what is the actionable step here? It's not sexy, it's not buy Bitcoin, it is this. Audit your life for vampire costs caused by being broke. Look at where you are bleeding money simply because you don't have money. Are you paying private mortgage insurance? Are you paying high interest on a car? Are you buying single rolls of paper towels? Identify the biggest leak, then ruthlessly cut everything else, and I mean everything, until you have the cash to plug that specific leak. If you need $500 to fix your car so it stops burning oil, selling your old clothes or doing DoorDash for a weekend is not just earning extra cash, it is a strategic strike against a future expense. You are buying your way out of the trap, one pair of boots at a time. This journey is unfair. I won't lie to you and say it's an even playing field. It takes 10 times as much effort to get from $0 to $10,000 as it does to get from $10,000 to $100,000. The wind is in your face at the start. But once you understand that being poor is a mathematical penalty, you can stop blaming yourself for being bad with money and start attacking the penalties themselves. You stop playing their game and start playing yours. You buy the boots that last. You buy the freedom to say no to the bad loan. And eventually, you walk right out of the hole. If this video sparked something in you, if you realized you've been paying the poverty premium without even knowing it, share this with someone who needs to hear it. We don't talk about this stuff enough. We talk about the wins, but we rarely talk about the traps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.